Is going to blow your mind, and I had to get to it right now. I can't wait. So we're going to talk while we're walking in Taiwan to the train to get to the gym about YK11. Now, YK11 is purported to be a SARM. A lot of people call it a SARM. Definitely not a SARM. It's a DHT steroid, but the most powerful component of the YK11 is the myostatin inhibiting properties. Now, for those of you who follow bodybuilding science, you'll know that myostatin is the potential future of becoming superhuman with minimal effort and looking like a bodybuilder, and makes you grow like a weed. It's the rev limiter on how much muscle we can put on. So especially for those of us who already have an appreciable amount of muscle, it really helps us get to the next level. Problem is, a lot of the injectable myostatin inhibitors don't work. There's some studies that show that the ones they use in the studies work, but all of the ones that are being sold, whether they say they're made from the US or not, we still have yet to see one that works really well, although Enhanced Athlete's going to continue to investigate and experiment with them. For now, YK11 appears to be the most powerful myostatin inhibitor that we've seen. There's this brown algae and all these over-the-counter supplements that people take that sound promising on paper, but we have yet to see any real results from them. Now, YK11, there's some real results. And it works, but you think it works because it works on the androgen receptor. Not true. It works only because they're myostatin inhibiting. In fact, when they did the study of YK11 and took out the myostatin inhibiting abilities of it, it didn't work at all, which means something is going on the androgen receptor and the myostatin inhibiting. Trevor finally has a theory to explain this. And it's going to get a little complicated, and this is our theory, this is our inferences made upon the studies that we've made and our personal experimentation with it. Trevor, what do you think about why YK11 and how we should actually use it, the protocol that works best with it?
It works by increasing follistatin, and follistatin is what actually blocks myostatin from being produced. It gets rid of it. So the more follistatin you have, the less myostatin you have, the more muscle you're going to grow, even at calorie deficits. Myostatin is the thing that increases as you put on more muscle, because it's not fundamentally beneficial to have more muscle than you should.
Trevor just asked me if I started this new protocol he prescribed for me at YK11 last night. I said no, because I just started DNP last night, and I'm starving myself to maybe get ready for a bodybuilding show in about a week, because that's about how long I need to get ready for a show. And he said, well, I should have taken it. And I said, what's the point of taking something that's meant to put on muscle when I'm in such a deep caloric deficit?
It gets rid, like you said, of the rev limiter. So your body's ability to put on muscle, look when you first start putting on muscle, how fast you put it on, right? And they've shown it, and it's 100% true, myostatin levels are lower. The more muscle you put on, the higher your myostatin is, because any more muscle you start putting on gets in the way of anything in life. And we're still cavemen, and we respond to nutrition, to drugs, the same way as cavemen are designed to. We're not this evolved species yet. So when you think about hunting, what's a 250-pound muscle-bound guy going to be able to do hunting? He can't hunt. He can't do anything. He can't run. He's useless. So that's what the rev limiting factor is for. So it's tricking this. And one of the things about YK11, they call them SARMs. It's not a SARM. It's a partially bound to the androgen receptor, meaning, just put in terms of, think of Novadex. It will, because it's a synthetically designed hormone, not a natural hormone, has a higher binding affinity. So what it will do is bind to the androgen receptor, kick off whatever is on there. And these are all backed up by the studies, by the way. This isn't the theory, but it will kick off whatever is bound, like testosterone, androgen, kicks those off and takes its place. And because it's only partially bound, it acts like a SERM. It's actually acting as an antagonist. And what this means is, I give the example of ketotifen and clenbuterol. It's binding to this, and that androgen receptor starts coming refreshed and more sensitive to andros. So while it's bound, you're increasing sensitivity to andros. And its pathways mediating the myostatin is both on the androgen receptor level and outside of the androgen receptor. They don't know how it increases follistatin yet, but it does. So because of the short active life of YK11, the theory that I came up with is taking it before bed. Because let's say you get an 8-hour sleep and the active life is 2 hours or 3 hours maximum of the YK. And you take a higher dose of this stuff to increase the follistatin as high as you possibly could. And once it's increased, it's out of your body. It starts leaving the androgen receptor, and then whatever hormones you are taking that are floating around in your bloodstream will then go and bind to the receptor again. So now you have an increased follistatin production halfway through your sleep with the androgens in your body. And those androgens are going to stimulate the growth while follistatin is present and myostatin's at its lowest.
So this also could have some application during PCT, post-cycle therapy, which is after a steroid cycle. One of the goals of PCT is to resensitize the androgen receptor to androgens for the next cycle. Because the theory is that you take steroids, and like any drug, you become desensitized to it. You come off the drug, maintain the gains, you regain the sensitivity, get back on the drug. Now, for people like me, I don't ever want to take a step backwards. That's what I did for my first steroid cycles. I did not like the roller coaster of losing a bunch of size, gaining a bunch of size, losing a bunch of size. I'm in this to maintain an awesome physique every day of the year. So what I'm going to be using YK11, if I'm going to do PCT, if I'm going to come off everything, I'm going to use it to resensitize the androgen receptor while still staying anabolic. See, on the anabolic matrix, we have these different columns. This is our theory of bodybuilding that's revolutionizing the industry right now. Is you have the androgen column, you have the growth hormone column, the insulin column, the myostatin column, all these different columns, and the goal is to have synergy between these different columns, not to take a whole bunch of steroids in one column, because there's a law of diminishing returns in one column, and there's synergy between each one. But there's also ways to cycle between the different columns. So if we can come off the steroids, but then go on growth hormone, we can stay very anabolic, not lose money. I mean, not lose, you lose a lot of money taking growth hormone because it can be very expensive. Not lose muscle, actually maybe even gain muscle while resensitizing the androgen receptors. The same theory I have with nootropics of switching between 3 different compounds. 2 days on one nootropic, 2 days on another, 2 days on another. That way you stay enhanced all the time, and yet you're letting different parts of the brain resensitize. So YK11 is going to be part of my protocol and my athlete's protocol as an experiment at first until we prove this theory is correct, where we come off the androgens, we go on the YK11, which acts as the androgen receptor antagonist, which is going to block the effectiveness of other androgens, and yet we're going to stay anabolic, we're going to be able to build muscle on it. And then when we go back to the androgens, we have this rebound of super sensitivity and build muscle from the androgens as well. So the YK11 can be used in a long-term fashion, like during a whole PCT, like as a cycle, like taking multiple times per day throughout the day, taking the YK11. That's how you do it on a long PCT cycle, like taking 4 pills a day spread throughout the day. Or it can be used on cycle, where we take it right before bed or right before a workout, or actually maybe 2 hours before a workout would probably be best, and where we take all the 4 pills at once.
And the reason I came up with before bed, if you were to take this before a workout and it's still on the androgen receptor, you're not getting all the strength and all the fat burning benefits that a steroid would give you during a workout. So that's the key there. Myostatin and growth. If you look at growth, we grow still to this day in our sleep. And that's one of the benefits of growth hormone, is taking a lot of it puts your brain kind of in that state of sleep, which is why you're always tired. So you're still actually growing while you're awake. Not as fast as you would in your sleep when everything shuts down, but that's when you grow the most. So the theory is take it when you don't need the androgen receptor as much as you would need the myostatin, because you're going to grow the most during that time period. And you're still going to kick over in a few hours back to your normal state, and those are going to be leaving the androgen receptor, freeing up room for your testosterone and other things.
So hopefully we have a future video where this experiment goes successful, where I run 20 milligrams of YK11 before bed every night, and then also where one of our athletes who's going to do a PCT runs 20 milligrams spread in 4 dosages, which is 4 pills spread throughout the day during PCT. 2 different protocols.
And then back to the study, because we did find the actual studies on it. I was arguing with him that I've never found an actual concrete study that YK11 increases myostatin. Nobody has ever posted a link to it. There's never been a link. You can go check online, any research place, there's never a link. And I finally found the study. We bought the study, and we found it. So the key parts of this is the actual increase of myostatin is 2 to 3-fold increase that of DHT. So DHT, there was a placebo as well. DHT increased that 2 to 3-fold, and then the YK11 increased the DHT 2 to 3-fold without even being on DHT. So they didn't even do a synergy between the two.
Good timing. We get in the train station now, heading to the gym to work out with some of the fitness celebrities of Taiwan, learn from each other, pass on our knowledge of pioneering human evolution. Be swell and swool, my friends of Frida.